Hello, everybody, and welcome to With Wisdom, Embodying Energy and Embracing Seasons. And we are in the middle of August. In the middle of August, we have our very special guest, Helena Clayton, who's here to talk about the work that she does. And in our previous couple of videos, we've talked about, the beginning of August being Lammas, harvest time. We've shared with you a few little tools and tips that can support you in this changing energy from the fire energy of summer to the earth energy of late summer as we're in mid-August now. And we're so grateful to have you, Helena. So my name is Sam. I'm Sam Surya, and my co-host
Gabriela Alvarez. Welcome here, welcome Helena, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, and Helena, maybe you would like to just share a little bit about who you are and.
Yeah, sure. It's great to be here. I'm looking forward to the conversation. Yeah, so the CV response is I've been working in leadership development, organizational development, coaching, coach supervision for decades. So that's my kind of working identity. But I'm loving the invitation to speak about seasonal changes because I'm 61 and I'm probably in the middle of a significant seasonal life change. That definitely links into July, August, heading towards harvest time. So yes, I'm hoping to be able to explore more than my CV in our conversation.
Well, you're in good company because I'm 61 and I'm definitely feeling that shift too, and it's quite exciting. I think these shifts, they can be a bit discombobulating, but they can also be really exciting.
And actually, when I listening to you, I'm feel honored and grateful to be among you and learn from you both. And we were talking about this transition from fire to earth, and you in the 60s, according at least to Chinese view or cosmology, you are shifting from this earth season to the metal season, right? And it's about all this harvesting. I'm still a way to come to 61, but it's like the wisdom that you are drawing from all these ages to this new era or this new phase in your life. So that's the question I would love to ask to start in this transition. What wisdom do you draw on for your work, for your life, for whatever is present for you right now?
Yeah, thank you. I love that question, and I've not kind of like prepped answers, even though I knew that was a framing question, particularly. So I guess, one of I'm going to call it a wisdom source, actually, that I've strongly relied on and will continue to is learning. The books are a clue, I guess, right? So my parents were teachers. There definitely is something about learning and passing learning on. So there's something about the wisdom of others. How can I really, harvest, since we're going to use that word, how can I learn so that I can share? That will stay with me, I think, forever, I'm sure. But I think it's something that I'm learning now at this age and stage is the two things, I think. The wisdom of nature, and how I am nature, it's not separate. How I am nature, part of nature, and the wisdom of that, and the wisdom of the body. And I think a friend of mine was asking me the other day, who are your teachers these days? Meaning people. And I have people I would consider teachers, but I found myself saying, and it sounded a bit as if I was, I don't know how it sounded. I'm already making up stories, but I sort of paused and said, I think that, the natural world, nature around me, the more than human world, I think those are inviting me to be my teachers now. And my body too, because for years I've had a strong connection to my body, but I also notice how I've overridden my body. I've acknowledged it, but I've kind of treated it a little like it's a machine, and it's been a mighty machine. And the thing that's creating the transition is I'm just several weeks out of having a hysterectomy. So that has dropped me into what might be called a crucible experience, a seasonal seismic shift into a different season of my life, really, without reaching for too many cliches. And that, I think, has not sped up, but really connected me to natural cycles and the really nuanced teaching that my body has for me, something like that, I think. So that's the kind of identity transition that I'm also in the middle of. Yeah, that's how I'm starting us off today, anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you, Helena. And just it's one question that we didn't had in these guidance questions, but I'm very curious. You work with love in an environment I used to work, and it's for my head or my experience quite rare or strange. Especially I work here in Germany, which love would not be the first word that engineers would use, for example, at least in where I was working. And how is love talking to you nowadays? What is love telling you? Because you're telling your body, the seasons. How is love expressing through all this wisdom for you?
You're right. I have been working in corporate environments, including some that are pretty harsh, pretty brutal, although many organizations are even benign, well-meaning organizations are very, very hard on our human systems these days, no matter where we look. So that's been my operating world for forever. And for the last, I don't know, 7 or 8, I've been researching, talking about, running workshops about love and its place. What place might it have or should it have in leadership, in organizations, in our working worlds, and of course beyond? So first thing is to say, I definitely think there's much more openness now to that conversation, and there's much more leaning forward and some version of tell me more. I think we need that from organizations and people in organizations, because after all, organizations are only made up of people, and as human beings, we are hardwired for love. I believe. The way that love is showing up for me now is more around, I'm really hesitant to use the word self-care and self-love, because I think, especially when women use that word, it can imply bubble baths and putting your feet up with a magazine. There are some unhelpful stereotypes, but I think for me it's about things like putting some radical boundaries in place. That for me is an act of self-love or self-care. What won't I do anymore? Where's my no? I think it's about that lovely book by Tricia Hersey, Rest is Resistance. That rest is a political act.
Yeah.
One that if we don't claim for ourselves as a form of activism, nobody's going to grant it to us. We have to take it. It's not going to be given to us. So there's something about rest as a form of love that is showing up for me now. And there's definitely something about the difference between self-care and self-soothing, which I think for me is about the vagus nerve and making sure our nervous systems are settled. So I think there's something there, which is definitely where for me the natural world really helps, and this enforced rest is really helping me too. Is about being slower and more spacious, and thinking about the term self-soothing as an inquiry. Yeah.
Oh, you're ticking all the boxes for both of us, because you joined our tribe now, Helena, because we're with all of this, and that self-care piece. We talked about sympathy to self last week, and it was that sort of sympathy to self and saying it's okay right now, this is what I need, and the boundaries that you talked about we have discussed in the past in varieties of ways, but I've kind of had a similar kind of shift for me in recent months with a back surgery, but mine is like a healthy hedge. So my hedge sometimes has to have a few prickles, and sometimes it lets the birds fly through. So, but I have to tend to that hedge so that I keep it healthy. That boundary hedge has got to be really healthy, because it's resources me. It resources me and helps me then show up in the world. So there's something around those kind of questions. And I love the book Rest is Resistance. Is on my shelf. I love that one. Any kind of rest, talking about rest and saying, no, not now, not yet. Yeah.
I was just going to jump in there for thank you really for bringing an organic image of a boundary, right? We often think of it as like a fence or a white line. Actually, what if it was a hedge? You know, what if it was a living thing, right? That that is organic and can be cultivated and changes. So I love that image. Thank you.
Yes, it's a permeable thing. No, just a note. Maybe Helena, if you could just maybe speak straight onto your mic, just because it just dipped a little bit out, just so you know.
I'll lean in a little too.
I'm going to take over a little bit here now, because you sort of talked us very much about the wisdom that you're drawing on is very much around you being nature, being a part of nature, and that's something like a massive resource. How does the way that you live now align with your desired legacy for the future? So maybe there's something there you might want to add in and share with us. And it's changing clearly for you right now.
I think so. And I think I go to two places. One is I just want to continue. I want to continue advocating for love. You know, not just in the workplace, but we are in all sorts of ways being invited to other people to be suspicious and to be fearful and to hate and to separate. So anything I can do that creates connection between two humans, whether we equate love with connection, but I certainly can. So something about just continuing to do that work without any sense of what it might lead to. Just knowing that talking about love and doing the work that I do, trusting. We talked before we started recording about seeds and how seeds have potential. It's something about putting some seeds out there, knowing that not all will root or land, but some will, and something will change. So there's something about continuing that. And also, I think in my work and probably in my wider life, what I also want to cultivate, there's a lovely poem by Martha Postlethwaite called The Clearing. And it's sort of saying, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to be active to make things happen. You just need to create a clearing into which things can come. So when I think of the work that I'm doing more and more these days, for example, in coaching, I mean, I don't think I do any sort of what I would call performance coaching, help me get really better at this. It's much more about creating a space where people can talk out loud, to be unedited, to speak their their fears or their concerns or their longings, something about, and in a corporate setting, in service of their work in the organization, but something about a space where people can just talk and be and say things they don't normally get to say out loud. My sense is something around that is getting more and more important to me in terms of to dial that up somehow or strengthen that capacity, which of course means work for me, because I tend to, as I said, my parents were teachers, and there is a part of me that likes to educate and teach and share a model and a framework. And I have to watch that, and it's like that is always going to be there. And how can I balance it with a much greater capacity to simply listen and bear witness, something like that.
just letting your words land in the clearing that we've created here together. And it's like in August, we clear the ground, we harvest the ground, we have those spaces. And then we can make those decisions about what we want to leave behind or what connections we want to make. So it's a really perfect, as you were talking, I had a sense of a space in a woodland. You're walking through a dark wood and then there's a sort of glade that appears. And not often people have that, because you all feel hemmed in by the do and must and shoulds. So how wonderful to have that, for leaders to have that opportunity, to have that space. I've got another question on my tongue I want to ask, but I'm going to ask Gabby if there's anything you want to pull out of what Helena has just said.
No, I'm just very grateful for Helena's service and what she's doing in the organization. So thank you very much. It's beautiful. I mean, listening to someone talking about love in organizations, and as you said, we are humans. Is sometimes in these settings, you are always, or it was my experience for almost 20 years, that you are always in this sense of urgency, that not always we stop to look at each other. It certainly happens, but that someone creates this clearance and this space to witnessing and to be with that, with the difficulties. It helps also to find more love. Thank you.
That's right. And I'm just noticing too that when you say that, I also know how fearful I am of changing state. I have always been, action oriented, I think forward looking. So for me to now really start to lean into or experiment or learn more about sitting back, letting things happen as opposed to making things happen, saying no, resting, it brings up a lot of fear around fear of missing out. What if I'm not visible? What if people don't want to employ me anymore? So it's something about, I have to deal with my fear of disappearing and being less visible and being less important. And it's like, all right, okay, that's okay. Hello, that's there. So yeah, for me, it's not an easy. I think it's happening relatively naturally anyway, but I'm noticing it doesn't come with it without discomfort and without some spotting of some patterns that I don't love in myself, but like they are there.
Yeah, may I offer you just quickly, if it's okay for you, because you were talking about that, you're becoming wiser, I think, and I wanted to share a chapter of the Tao Te Ching that I remember about that. It always, I mean, the wisdom of the Tao is linked with water many times, and it's humility, and water is not loud and is soft, and all these things. And the chapter 73 says the Tao is always at ease. It overcomes without competing, answers without speaking a word, arrives without being summoned, accomplishes without a plan. Its net covers the whole universe, and though its meshes are wide, it doesn't let a thing slip through.
Well, that's very powerful.
Yeah. And that's what I'm hearing from what Helena is sharing. So it's coming into this state.
I was going to ask that those sense of discomfort that you're feeling, how do you process those? What do you have, any little tools or tips? Because there may be many other people who may be watching this who will have similar feelings of discomfort. What ifs? Is there something that you do?
It's a nice question, and I have no idea really what I do, but I think that seeing what's there, I think it's years ago, decades ago, I developed a meditation practice, a Buddhist meditation practice, and I in no way, shape or form keep that up or have come close to having a regular practice over the decades at all. But I do think one of the things it taught me was the capacity to sit with feelings, to sit with discomfort, to sit with contradictions, and know or trust that it does change and shift and evolve. Yeah. So I have a good capacity, I think, to I suppose not all the time, but just to witness my thinking and know that I'm not my thought. Hugely cliched, apologies, but something about that, I think, just trusting that, and also, you know, a lot of work doing shadow work, work. So recognizing that there are parts of me, it's just like, oh, hello, there's that part and there's that part. To know that they are natural parts, innate parts of being human, and just saying, oh, look, that part's up now, or this feeling or emotion is up. That I think. So I'm really kind of bowing to Buddhist meditation practice, I think.
And I kind of witnessed some of your process through reading your writing. And I think I've sometimes when I read your writing through your newsletters or your posts or what have you, I feel that there is something that you are processing, something that has come up for you, and you use writing really well to do that. I think we all three of us write in a variety of different forms, but when I read yours, I have a sense that I'm witnessing through reading a part of your process.
That's probably right, actually. And I don't have many I say boundaries. I'm really open about what I
you're very open
in terms of, you know, for me it's like I'm telling you this because I think it's normal for a human being to be like this, so I don't have any shame. Sometimes I do. So I do tend to be I don't mind sharing what can be personal.
Oh, so much wisdom, Helena. Thank you so much. And I just, you know, our guests have always been perfect for every month, and I feel so much for this harvest time. It feels very much that you've stepped into the clearing and you're making that decision about you, and for all of us, we can pick up on that in this August month. We can pick up in August, take some time to pause. It is a time often of, you know, for those with children, they'll be on holiday, so there is an opportunity for people to take a step back. Many companies, even if you don't have families or young children, there might be a quieter time. So if you're in that, you're noticing that sort of slight change, slight change in traffic, slight change in hustle and bustle in the shops. This is the time just to take that step into the clearing, see what's up, see what you can do to repair or mend your boundaries so that they let air in and let stuff out. Gabby, I'm going to hand over to you now.
Today I'm just very feeling a sense of deep gratitude and yeah, I'm witnessing to wise women that I'm honored to share the space with, and thank you so much. I mean, I don't have anything to add. I feel beauty. I feel joy to know that there's people like you, Helena, in the world sharing openly what you said, sharing personal things. For me, and that's why when I write or share something, a video or whatever, or even with friends, I feel it and I sense it like my human duty, in the sense it's not about that to make my life public, but I know how it felt when I felt alone and in my processes, or I felt weird, or I felt like a failure or a loser because I couldn't keep it up with some things. And when I share it, if there's someone feeling like I used to feel, or when I still feel, because sometimes I feel lost, maybe it helps this person to see that there's another way, and that's also normal. We are human, we are feeling, we are sensing beings, and that's beautiful. So thank you very much. Thank you both for sharing the space. And yeah,
Helena, where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
LinkedIn, obviously, and my website is helenaclayton.co.uk, and most things I'm okay-ish at updating it, but most things will be there, including a podcast and the blogs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would highly recommend people subscribe to your newsletter, because I find it incredibly. It's like a harvest gift. There'll be a little bit about leadership. There'll be some beautiful books and poetry, some art. It is like a gift basket of beautiful fruits and vegetables that you get with Helena's newsletter. Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. And I'm leaving with a gift today, actually, which is the idea of, we've taken the word wintering to be like a verb, right? It doesn't necessarily need to be attached to midwinter. And now I'm taking Augusting or to August, or August is not just an actual month with sometimes days, but actually what does it mean to August in some ways? So you've really given me a beautiful metaphor to play with as well.
We look forward to reading some of that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, time to end.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone watching us, and thank you, Helena. And we will share in the description of the video your links. I'm very much looking forward to keep reading your newsletters and learning from you. And yeah, thank you, everyone. So if you found this helpful or inspiring, please comment, share, let us know, and subscribe. Yeah, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Helena, for being here today. And we see each other anywhere in any part soon. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.